Hello there and welcome to this meta video. I've been trying different formats for this. I've been trying to do like short snippets of the charts and stuff, and then doing list videos live later on. Whilst this is fun for me, it seems to get less people watching for some reason. So I'm just going to go back to the old, just recording a long form video. Well, we'll talk through the meta, and then we'll go through the lists. And at the end of today's show, no, I'm not going to talk about dwarves. There's a lot going on about dwarves at the moment because some people get the battle tomes or whatever they're called. What are they called? Arcane Journal. Some people get them in advance, so I don't. I've emailed them though to ask if they'll send me them, which probably won't. But you know, there is a press function at GW, so that would be nice if. I've asked them to just send me a digital copy, really, because everybody seems to get sent a physical book, and I'm not really fussed about that. I have a rather extensive library of look. I mean, over there, that's some of the books. There's some books over there, like there's another bookcase over there. There's a bookcase in there. I've got plenty of books, so I don't need sort of temporary books that are going to go out of fashion very shortly. Anyway, right. Let's have a look at these charts. I've also changed the mic position, so I'm a bit more sort of centre on rather than at an angle. So maybe I can look at the camera a bit more. Apparently that helps. Don't know why. Anyway, popularity of the factions hasn't really changed very much. Kingdom of Bretonnia looks like the first faction that's going to break through the 200 appearances mark. Very, very swiftly and closely followed by Khemri and then Orcs and Goblins as being the three most popular factions, representing a big chunk of the meta. A little bit behind them, Warriors of Chaos. And then behind them, Dwarfs and Elves are neck and neck. At least in the popularity charts, if not in real life. What do we talk about? Real life. This is real, right? Then the win percentage chart, as you can see, Tomb Kings are still well on ahead in terms of win percentage. This is a box and whiskers plot, so the purple bar, essentially where that ends, that's the current win percentage, and the red whiskers give you what's normal for a player. So there's this thing about normal distribution, and so what are the normal range of results for people. So for instance, at a 5-game tournament, you could expect as a Khemri player to win 2, 3 or 4 games. That's pretty normal for them. If you're winning all 5, you're doing really well, and if you're not winning 2, then there's something to work on. Everybody seems to be within that sort of 2 to 3 win bracket, apart from Skaven, who normally win 0 to 2 games. At a 5-gamer and at a 1-gamer, they normally win 0 or 1. They're the only faction where winning none of your games is normal. So Skaven, again, in a bit of a desperate situation at the moment. I've attempted to write some lists that might fix that. I just don't see how it's possible, to be honest. They are lacking either Swift Stride, which is the most powerful ability in the game at the moment, or an ability to counter it. Like, for instance, although Beastmen, who are doing very well, don't really have Swift Stride. I mean, they've got it with their Centaurs, which are pretty. They're okay, but they're not great. They've got it with the Centaurs, but what Beastmen do have that can counter it is they have lots and lots and lots of chaff units that can take the charge, and then a load of chariots to counter punch back. So Beastmen have got a really good counter to that whole Swift Stride thing. Skaven, on the other hand, because essentially if you get hit with cavalry and you're Skaven, then often, especially if that cavalry unit have first charge, that deletes your rank bonus and therefore deletes your leadership, which is pretty bad for a Skaven player. So that they don't have a counter to the current prominent paradigm, which is sort of cavalry heavy, seems to win at the moment. If we look at win percentage over time, this isn't cumulative. This is essentially what happened in each month. So you can see there's a lot of movement around month to month. Vampire counts being one exception where they seem to sort of hover between 40 to 50% win percentage. Last month in particular, Tomb Kings of Khemri got over 60% win rate in the last month, which is pretty high. Chaos Dwarves again going up there. However, in July, Chaos Dwarves have come down below a 30% win rate. Now, that could be because we're not at the end of July yet. That could be very few people using them and, you know, maybe not knowing what they're doing. I think the prominent theme, though, is Skaven. Again, they're just massively... like there is a pack here, isn't there, of armies, of factions that are kind of average. There are a few that occasionally pull ahead. For instance, Beastmen did really well in April, and they've gone sort of steadily downhill from then, to be honest. Vampire counts have been fairly, you know, they did do quite well in April and May, but they've been sort of fairly average over the last couple of months, as I think more people are taking them and people are exploring different builds. Kingdom of Bretonia were good in April, struggled a bit in May, and have been shooting up. They've taken over Tomb Kings this month, and Dark Elves somehow have a really good win percentage, but again, I think that's anomalous. I think that was one player at one tournament did really well, and I don't think there's been that many entries for Dark Elves, so I think that's a bit anomalous, really. But yeah, it's just a bit of a snapshot. There's not really enough results in any one particular month to say that this data is genuinely reflective of the global meta. However, I think it's just interesting to look at what's happening competitively. And like Ogres, for instance, like they started bad, very good, bad, average, good. Like, so they're a bit all over the place. I think that's Ogres, isn't it? Yeah, because Wood Elves are this one here, aren't they? This is Vampires, this is Wood Elves. Wood Elves are tracking up as well. Like, they sort of started pretty well, and then they've gone a bit average, but they've been slowly improving over time as well. So whilst this isn't really reflective of what the win percentage is, what it is reflective of is sort of patterns of people using factions over time. And Empire, for instance, Empire seem to have turned a bit of a corner here. Like they did pretty badly in May and June, but over July they've started to come back and head upwards towards that 50% win rate, sort of 45% win, 40 to 45% win rate is where basically all the factions should be if the game is perfectly balanced. And obviously it's not, because it's a Games Workshop game. There is this chart All or Nothing, which for some reason it's decided to save without a white background, which is annoying. But anyway, what this shows is essentially it's easier with the vast majority of factions to lose all your games than to win all your games. So this is looking at the extremes of results of essentially who's won all their games in green and who's lost all their games at a tournament in blue. So in terms of like a percentage of player who's won all their games, Vampire Counts I think is the highest, and Bretonia now, they've got up to 14% as well. So getting on to 1 in 7 players. Is it 1 in 7? Yeah, 1 in 7 players with Vampires and Bretonia win all their games at a tournament, which is quite astonishing. Whereas on the other hand, losing all the games, you've got Skaven there, 40%. So 2 out of 5 players who have taken Skaven to tournaments have lost every single one of their games. And that is another, combined with the win percentage, that's another really worrying statistic. Yes, Skaven, 8% of Skaven players have won all their games. However, I keep mentioning that was a bloke in Canada that did pretty well early doors, but then people got wise and have figured them out. So that's the data at the moment. I am also doing individual rankings, and I've got this somewhere where I'm happy with in terms of the player score on the right there. That's calculated by reference to how far away a game was and how big the tournament was in terms of points deployed. So a 5-game tournament will naturally rank higher. Well, you know what, I'll just show you. So here, for instance, we've got this tournament, Authentic Dragons in California. Essentially, you take the number of games, number of entries, number of points per entry, and that's the total amount of points deployed at the tournament. So that's 72,000. Then we come across to the formula, and here's the formula. It's a bit kind of weird, but essentially I'm doing 1 plus total deployed over 1 million. So essentially the points deployed, it adds a little modifier to the result. The big one though is where you finished. So your win percentage largely dictates your player score per tournament. So for instance, at this one, Doug Lamb won. He gets a player score of 0.65 because it's a smallish tournament, but he got top of the ranking, so his rank percentile was 100%. So he gets all of that, and then that's been degraded from essentially how many months have passed, and I've divided that by 12. Because we're kind of exponentially degrading it, so I've divided it by 12 to lessen the impact of the exponential. It's not 12 because there's months, it's just 12 gave a more pleasing result. There's no particular reason for the number 12, it's purely arbitrary. I've tried various, but 12 seems to work a bit better, but we'll only really know when we get sort of 2 or 3 years into the data what that factor should be, really, because I don't want to penalise people unduly for not turning up to tournaments all the time, but equally I don't want people to stay at the top of the player ranking if they, for instance, won a few tournaments 3 years ago, like, you know. And I don't like that concept of we're going to go from May to May and we're going to have a season and it's the best 4 results in that. I know that's quite popular, but I really don't like that because I think all your results should count. It's just we can use maths to like degrade the scores over time. So this is a 72,000 point tournament. If we go and remember, so 0.65, 72,000. So if we go to something a bit more recent, hopefully there's another 72,000. Here we go. Get hit. So the player who won there gets 1.075. So essentially he's lost 0.4 to Doug has lost 0.4 to his player score because it was 6 months ago. And what I'm looking for is essentially for it to about half every 12 months. So essentially your player score has a half-life of 12 months. So it halves then, and then it quarters, and then it eighths. So it never truly diminishes, but it gets down to essentially your tournament result does have a half-life. Cool. So individuals, I do have a little issue because there was a thing on 6++ where he quickly interviewed James Ramsey, who's apparently won 3 GTs, and I've only got 2 for him, so I'm a bit worried that I've not recorded either his name or his results accurately. Because if he did win 3 tournaments, he'd probably have another 1.2 onto his player score because they're 5-game tournaments, aren't they? So he should be around about here, 3-ish. Top of the player ranking still is Luna, who I think has won 4 out of 5 tournaments, and I think 3 or 4 of those were at GTs. 21 games played, that means 3 GTs and 2 sort of minor tournaments. GT meaning a 2-day, 5 or 6 game tournament. So 21, oh yeah, I forgot about that. If you double click it, so essentially, 5 game. She's won 2 GTs, won 3 in that one, and then has won all of her games in these two sort of 1 day sort of tournaments. So let's delete that chart. Yeah. So I'm reasonably happy with this as a sort of fairly accurate representation of who the better players are. And to be honest, turning up to more tournaments gives you a higher player score. But now I've rebased it a bit. There should be a bit less, essentially, people ranking very highly because they've just turned up to a lot. But obviously turning up to a lot does help. Like again, young Duke Kim down here, has turned up to 5 tournaments. So tournament-wise, fairly experienced, just not being quite so lucky as other people in terms of results. If I double-click on him... Yeah, there we go. So if I double-click on him, he's been to 2 5-game tournaments. He's taking demons and orcs and goblins. So he's not taking the factions that are at the top of the meta. But actually he's getting reasonable results for demons, to be fair. So Yeah, I've picked on him because it's, you know, again, it's a low win percentage, but I don't know about that. Oh no, don't rename. Get rid of that. Yeah, I don't know about how to. Cause it's based on rank percentile as well, and this is the average of the rank percentile. Yeah, so he's technically normally bottom table, but he has been to 5. I don't get why he ranks as being higher than, for instance, Danny Stewart, who's normally in like the top 30%. So, you know, if it was a 10-player tournament, Danny typically podiums, and he's done so 4 times, whereas Young Duke Kim doesn't. So I need to work on this formula a bit more, but I'm getting close to being happy with it. So there are a few issues I have with it, but yeah, I think I'm getting there. But yeah, so top 5 players at the moment, according to this. Not deeply flawed. It was deeply flawed last time. It's now slightly flawed formula. Luna, Phil, Matt, Liam, and Mark Wildman are top 5. Although arguably James probably should be if I knew where his other result were. Yeah. And Jerry Parsley is an amazing name. I love that name. I hope he's a roving reporter. He's got a perfect name. Reporting for CNN Live, Jerry Parsley. Yeah, hi Phil. I don't know where I am actually. I haven't looked for me. It just totally fell out of my mind. I've only been to a couple of bits though, so yeah, I've only been to 2 tournaments, so I won't be very high at all. And I took rubbish lists, so there will be at some point. Oh look, there we go. I'm 430th. Yes. Great. I need to turn up to some more. There are. I mean, the thing that I get like putting this together though is like 1,405 people have entered tournaments like since February, which is it's just an astounding amount of people, isn't it? That are, you know, supporting this game and playing it. So well done to everybody for turning up to tournaments. And to those of you who are thinking about it, seriously, find a 3-game 1-day tournament. You will have a really good day, and you will play at least 2 cracking games of Warhammer: The Old World. The other one might be a bit rubbish, but it's likely to be very good. But you know, occasionally you have bad games. But I think that happens just going to your local store or playing with your mates. Occasionally, everything goes wrong. And if you're going to go to a tournament, like spend some time designing your list and knowing what it's doing and why everything's there. And I think that's key really, is to know what job everything has. Cool. So let's go have a look at some lists. Talking about lists, we've had 4 on Best Coast Pairings, and then we had 1 from New Recruit. There is another one on Best Coast Pairings that I wanted to look at because it's a doubles tournament. It's Rob Symes' event of One Honest Wargame of Fame. And sorry, no, Square based, wrong franchise, Square based Fame, and yeah. Oh yeah, by the way, we've had 2 5-game tournaments this weekend, so quite interesting. Liam Jordan managed to win with Orc and Goblin Tribes. Matt Howley with Orc and Goblin Tribes, and High Elves winning out this a clash on the borders, which took place at the Jubilee Parkway. My glasses are filthy. Which took place at the Jubilee Parkway in England, in Derby. Oh, whereabouts in Derby is that? Oh, I only really know that area. Interesting. Oh, we looked at this before, didn't we? Yeah, it's sort of in there. Yeah, it's in there somewhere, isn't it? I don't know whether we can see it from the road. Can we? Can't remember. Yeah, it's in there somewhere, isn't it? Cool. So High Elves came 3rd with, what was his name? I can't remember. Silly Dan. Oh, And now I've got no internet because this is. I keep trying to do like I'm recording this one, and part of the reason I've stopped trying to do live things is I tried to do a couple of live things last week, and it was just impossible because my internet kept cutting out. Yeah, it was just impossible, really. Rosa, Rosa, bloody dog. She does this. She sits in here, and then she like starts sniffing under the door, trying to get out, and then Rosa, come here, come here. Look, come here and say hello to all the people. Right. Yes. Yes. Right. Anyway. High Elf Realms came third. I was looking for... Oh, yeah, and then the internet crashed, and I started whinging about that. Singe Frost. Okay. So, it's got an Archmage with a Ruby Ring of Ruin. Yeah, that's why I don't like you sniffing under the door, because you get all rubbish up your nose. Illusion with the Sword of Hearth. Hearth. Oh, no, I don't want to open that there. I don't want you to show you my, accidentally show you my client files. Warhams. Right. Books. Good guys. I don't know what this... I mean, so Illusion, there's a spell called Spectral Doppelganger where you do 2d6 hits at the weapon profile of something that's held by the wielder. They've ruled that it's not anything on the mount, so it's literally has to be attacks that the magic caster can use. So presumably the Sword of Hearth is really good. Strength. Oh, it's a great weapon, but not a great weapon. Okay, so 2d6 hits at strength 5. AP 2? I mean, I guess that's pretty good. Yeah. It's interesting. I presume that goes in... Oh, it's not got a mount either. That's really interesting. Where does that... That must just hide out behind stuff. Yeah, I guess. Noble... How does this list work, Singe? Noble... BSB? Yeah, BSB, Charmed Shield. That's the one that you get a 6-up ward with against non-magical, I think. Then we've got a Prince on a Dragon. There we go. With Ogre Blade, Seed of Rebirth. Every High Elf gets issued a Seed of Rebirth at birth, I think. Every High Elf sort of noble, anyway. They seem to, anyway. Because they are amazing. It's like a 5-up regen save, which is pretty fantastic. I mean, elves are low toughness, but they've got so much in terms of, cool special armour. And, because you've also got the Talisman of Protection as well, which there isn't on this dragon. So the dragon's only got it's got a 6-up ward, hasn't it? Because of Blood of Calador, I think, gives it. So it's got a 6-up normal ward. It's got a 5-up regen save, which is pretty good. And then we've got full plate armour and shield, and the dragon helm, which gets you down to 2-up. So 2-up, 6-up, 5-up. It's just still pretty good defensively. And it's on a Star Dragon, which is, excellent. So we've got some Elven Archers, we've got some more Elven Archers, we've got a load of Silver Helms, 3 Tyranno Chariots, which I reckon are pretty good overall, and 3 Sky Cutters, which I think are pretty excellent, to be honest. This is a really interesting list. I guess, like, the Chariots... Because these ones... In fact, these ones have Swift Stride as well, don't they? So these can take one flank. These can... Do you want to go down now? Are you going to stop being a nuisance? Yes. Oh. There you go. Right. 3 Sky Cutters. Yeah. So, yeah. They don't... I think the Sky Cutters... No, she's not. She's gone straight back to the door. I might have to show you my bottom in a minute when I get up and let her out. She's doing it again. Bear with. scratching on the door to get back in a few minutes. Anyway, so I suppose that's the nature of dogs, isn't it? They like to patrol up and down. So you need to upgrade. So they don't even have the bolt thrower. Do they? Yeah, so it's a heavy chariot with swift stride. That's the cool thing about them. So that essentially they do. So it's got a big move. It's got a fly 10. Then it's got swift stride, so 19-inch threat range, and it does D3 plus 1 impact hits at strength 5 AP2, which for 90 points is pretty good. And 3 of them smashing into a unit at the same time. That's going to be a lot of high strength, high AP impact hits. And actually, like the bird thing, Swift Feather Rock Rose. Why is it called that? It's a silly name. Is that even a bird? It's an enormous legendary bird of prey of popular mythology of the Middle East. How's it pronounced? Oh, I'm getting distracted again. Stop that then. Look at that later. What are we doing? Yeah, so we're looking at Leathern Skycutters. They're pretty good. I love the line chariots because I love the models, but I admit that they're not great. You know, for another 30... So essentially you're saving 35 points for something that's way faster and hits quite a bit harder. I mean, it's not as good because these have got lion cloaks, so I think that means they get an extra save against shooting, I think. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting list. Like, there's a lot of fast elements. There's plenty of archers. I don't know what the archmage does. You know, this noble probably goes in a unit of silver helms, I'd imagine. And then you got the dragon prince, which is, you know, they're just really difficult to deal with. Just full stop. So there's a lot going on, and I guess the prince can go in and essentially hold them up for a couple of turns while the rest of the army navigates around and sorts itself out, and then hits you with a decent charge. So well done. Well done, Singe. Matt Howley came second with his Orcs and Goblins, traditional. He's got a Warbus on a Wyvern with the Trollhide trousers and the choppiest chopper. He's got a Weird Knob with a Ruby Ring of Ruin, level 4. So he's got 3 level 4 wizards, because Orcs and Goblins can do that, because you can buy one for 160 points, which is naff all. They've both got Illusion. That one's got the Idol of Gork, which is like, it's reroll 1 casting roll per turn, and it does something else as well that I can't remember. So you got your Black Orc mob. Oh, pardon me. Because you've got to take 1 Black Orc mob for every Black Orc hero and vice versa. Now, he's taken some Fanatics. Whoa. Whoa. Was this list illegal? I think they might have allowed it, because when did the FAQ actually drop? I can't remember when the FAQ actually dropped. It might have actually been Saturday, didn't it? Because basically in the FAQ they said you're only allowed 1 Fanatic per 10 Night Goblin. And when I did my FAQ video, one thing I said is we don't typically see 3 Night Goblins, like so this is atypical. He's got some Goblin Bolt Throwers, very sensible. Yeah, they're just so cheap for what they can do. 2 Doom Divers, which I think are some of the best artillery in the game. He's got an Orc Boar Boy mob, who are big uns, and an Orc Boar Chariot. So, yeah. Oh, thank you. I just thought anyway, it's not even lunchtime, but my wife's just brought me a lovely bacon sandwich, so you know I really can't complain. So yeah, I mean this is a pretty standard, you know, wide range Orc and Goblin style list with lots of Goblin artillery. There's a lot of, I mean, if he wanted to do this again and get the 9 Fanatics on the table, you need to take more Night Goblins, which might mean you have to drop the Orc Boys, or maybe the Orc Boys and the Boar Chariot in order to get your goblins up. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think Fanatics were that broken anyway, because it's not like they were dominating. I mean, the faction that's dominating at the moment is Khemri and Bretonnia. So, you know, when I say Khemri and Bretonnia, I mean Mortuary Cult and Pegasus Knights. Like, those are the things that are like appear to be slightly broken, and the Wailing Dirge and Vampires. Those three things appear to be slightly broken at the moment. Not bloody Fanatics, but you know, whatever. I don't write the rules. Liam Jordan. Troll hacks. Always gone for a troll horde. Excellent. Good. So we've got 3 troll mobs. 3 troll... Yeah, that's right. Because you're allowed 1 as core in a troll horde, and then you're allowed an extra troll mob as core for every troll hag you've got. I'm not sure how they're playing the 3 units max. Because if you're... So some people play 3 units max just full stop, and I think that's the GW line on it. So if you go to a tournament at Warhammer World, that's what you play to. Some people have you can take up to 6 for core slots. So the question is, what happens if it's core and also in something else? Obviously, in this tournament, they're playing 6 core, and he said, I'm taking 3 here, and then these are part of the other 3. But again, I mean, I just think just stick to 3, because it makes armies a bit more interesting. And we've got a decent sized orc mob. Are they? I think they've got a big stabber, but just the one. You can take multiple. I think, but he's got some essentially savage orcs, and he's got some goblin wolf rider mobs, which is very sensible. They're some of the best light cavalry in the game. He's gone for some big bosses to boost them a little bit. And he's got 2 troll hags. I'd be really interested to know how the troll hags got on, to be honest. And no dragon, but he has got 2 like wizard hero giant things, which is essentially what the troll hags are. So that's a really interesting list. Yeah, and also re-rolling regens is just absolutely fantastic. This is definitely an army that you need magical attacks against, because you don't get to re-roll the regen saves against magical. So, and the other thing is, like, that I like about this tournament, that, you know, there's 13 players, and probably, you know, that was a TO who didn't record any of his results, just so that there's an equal number of games. You don't want to give people buys, really. But it'd be really interesting, because who actually beat Liam? Who beat Mark Wildman? I suspected as much. Yeah. So Mark Wildman, who took an Empire list. I'm just going to have a quick look at this, because I quite like Mark. He's a good tournament player. Captain, BSB, Wizard, level 4, Engineer, Elector on a War Altar. Some veterans, missile handguns, state treats. That's a detachment. These 2 are detachments to that then? Yeah, they'd have to be. Okay, so he's got 19, and then he's got some state troops, a couple of units of Empire Knights, Demigriff, yeah, Outriders, yeah, Cannon. Yeah, it's a pretty decent list. It's fairly well balanced. There's enough to deal with most threats. I'd be interested to know how the War Altar got on, because I'm not so sure about them. They could be really good, but I just don't know how that would work on the table. Cool. So that's a Clash on the Borders. It took place on Derby, which is nowhere near a border. This was Rob Symes' doubles tournament. Doubles tournaments are quite cool, but they don't really tell us anything about the sort of the extended meta. But Short Kings on tour, I quite like the names. Clean Our Rims and Lustria Hunting Party managed to win here. Short Kings on tour being Alex Simmons and Richie Amphlett, with a double dwarf. Oh, now I get the Short Kings. I thought that referred to the players, but Richie's quite tall, isn't he? So he's not. Yeah. Lustria Hunting Party. Did they come second? Tom Hooper and Edward Fawcett, who's of 6++. Lustria Hunting Party, he came third. Clean Our Rims came second. Who's Clean Our Rims? Clean Our Rims is Jack Cropper and Declan Curzon Hetworth. So well done for your fantastic doubles victories here. Then we have another 5-game tournament, LSO, the Summer, the Summer Kriegsort, which do I do? Yes, need to do it backwards. So quite a few players here again at this 5-game tournament that took place in Texas, 777 Waters Creek Boulevard. Where's Waters Creek? Waters Creek. So water is what we call water in Lincolnshire. Oh, it's in there? This doesn't look very Warhammery at all. Okay, maybe that's a hotel and it's in a function room. I don't know. Or maybe... Oh, no, hold on. No, it is a hotel, isn't it? Look, there's a pool. So there's a hotel there that some Warhammer took place in, probably. Oh, the Cheesecake Factory. I love cheesecake, although I'm allergic to milk, so I can't have it. Anyway. What are you talking about, Dan? Get on with it. Right, David Lewis came third with Demons, which is exciting. Brad came second with Tomb Kings, which is well done for Brad. And like Dimitri, who came first with Bretonia, not exciting results. But anyway, Demons. What have we got? We've got a Bloodthirster with an Armour of Khorne and a Blood Flail. Yep. Got Demon Prince of Slaanesh, level 4 wizard, with some other stuff. A Herald of Slaanesh with a Locus and the Rapturous Standard. It's got a big chunk of Demonettes of Slaanesh. Rapturous Standard, is that like, that's the one that's like D3, takes D3 initiative off? Oh, it's not that, is it? What is it? Rapturous Standard is... any enemy unit that charges makes a disordered charge. They don't get their initiative bonus, which is actually really good for Demons of Slaanesh because they've got quite a high initiative. So they're probably striking first if the Rapturous Standard is in there, to be honest. The one thing I'm annoyed about with this is you can't put your heralds on seekers, which I just think is ridiculous. But anyway, 2 units of seekers, a couple of hellflayers, and a unit of flamers. What the heck? I mean, flamers are good, I think, but it's just an interesting combo. I mean, I suppose they're providing some like skirmishy sort of fire support, maybe? And then he's got a Bloodthirster to do what exactly? Oh no, hold on, that's not legal then, is it? That's not a legal list, I don't think. Sorry. Because I feel general is a... Oh, I always thought it... Oh, I've been... in my head, I've always had it that the greater demon is the general. So, actually, no. So the general could be the Demon Prince, because Bloodthirster's got leadership 9, which I think the Demon Prince has as well. So the Demon Prince... Yes, he's gone for the Demon Prince as the general. But you could equally have heralds. Wow, cool. So I was trying to build a Nurgle list the other day with just heralds. Don't want to guo. So, okay, sorry. No, it is a legal list. Apologies. There's a lot to remember in this edition of Warhammer. So, yeah, we've got a general there. Yeah, Demon Prince. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I don't know what the Bloodthirster's for, though. Like, I don't know. Arguably, a Keeper of Secrets is better. You know, in certain circumstances. I mean, it's a lot quicker. I mean, he's got quite a lot of quick stuff, to be honest. But, yeah. Don't know, really. Is the Blood Flail... Does Blood Flail do anything in particular that no, is that just a standard piece of kit for a Bloodthirster? So it's Multiple wounds D3. I mean, I prefer the Great Axe because A, it's got Monster Slayer, and B, it's got AP3 and Armor Bane 2, so it could just be crashing through stuff. Look at that weapon skill 10. Lovely. Anyway, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that's there. I suppose it's just a big sort of target to flap around the battlefield and, you know, just hit. Well, basically, D3 wounds. He's probably taking the case that D3 wounds is better than Monster Slayer because, you know, you can throw that into units of like heavy, super heavy infantry, like monstrous infantry and stuff like that, and then it'll do pretty well against them. So maybe that's thing's job. Then he's got a couple of quick units of Seekers and Hellflayers to sort of get around and, you know, work out their cavalry. It's got a big chunk of demons who actually don't mind getting charged even by something with lances because they're probably still striking first even against some decent cavalry. So that's a good counter to Swift Stride there. That's good. And then some flamers to sort of zip around and do some magic damage. So everything's got a job. I'm just having a difficult time in my head trying to work out where it all fits on the battlefield. But actually, all the right components are there for that to be very successful. So, well done, David, for coming in third with that. Then we've got second place, Tomb Kings, Armour of Ages on a Necrolith on a Tomb King. Yep. We've got he's gone double bone dragon. We've gone illusion and the dragon slaying sword. So if this goes into the he's got the lore familiar and he's gone for spectral doppelganger. Yeah, of course. We've got some chariots. You don't see that many chariots in a typical list, to be fair. Some archers, tomb scorpions, 2 necrosphinx. Yeah, he's gone for all the good stuff. This is all really strong. So yeah, I'm not surprised I did well. Dimitri Oshard has gone for a Duke on a Hippogriff with a Grummel Great Helm, blah blah blah. So he's got 2 up Savoury rolling wands. He's got the normal 5 up 6 up ward thing. He's got the virtue of heroism, which is Killing Blow and Monster Slayer. And he's got magical attacks anyway because he's got the Grail Vow. Then we've got a Paladin with the Questing Vow. Don't see that very often. Battle Standard Bearer with War Banner. So this one gives +2 to combat res rather than just +1. He's got Ruby Ring of Ruin. That's probably going to go into this unit of Knights of the Realm, I'd imagine. Or Questing. No, they're going to go in the Questing. He's got some Questing Knights. That's unusual. You don't see them very often because they're generally terrible against all the other options. Models are cool. Love the lore behind Questing Knights. They just don't really seem to do the job that they're supposed to do. But anyway, he's got some Grail Knights. I don't see the... Oh, no, I do now. It's the Volganhorn of Redemund is with the Prophetess, who's level 4 and on a warhorse. So she can hide out in one of these... Probably in the unit of Knights of the Realm, isn't she? Yeah. So yeah, this is a good list. He's got some Pegasus Knights. I mean, you probably want more. If you could take 2 units of another unit of Pegasus Knights would be way better than that unit of Questing Knights. People say the new skirmish rules has made them really difficult to use, and because you can't always get, you know, if you can't move them to get them into combat, then they die. Look at the coherency stuff. It's like, dude, they got fly 10. Like, you have to have a really big unit for them not to be able to get into formation. Or fly 9. Anyway, very long way. War of the Border Princes was a little 3-day tournament. Sean By came first. Robin Prince, well done for coming second. And Justin Terreau, which took place in Canada. So Sean came third. Warriors of Chaos. Lord, Slanesh, Steed, nice. Chosen Steed, Knights. Oh, only 4, but that'll be his retinue because, you know, they've all got countercharge now. It's got an Exalted Sorcerer with a Mark of Zinch on foot, going in a unit of 9 Chaos Warriors with a Mark of Zinch. Typically, you don't want to do that because it just limits your ability to actually wield your sorcerer. But 10 Chaos Warriors. Oh, this is a 1,000-point tournament. I shouldn't have included it in my data, I don't think. I didn't spot that when I went through it initially. 1,000 point, no, we need 20 people. So I shall have to delete that from my data. There's not enough points there. That's annoying. And then this event, Warhammer the Old World Organised Play, took place in California in the United States. Jonathan Sportell came in third with Orcs and Goblins. List unsubmitted for the Wood. Oh, that is so annoying. No list for the top 2 players, and they've both got interesting factions that don't get into the top 2 very often. Rotters, absolute rotters. Right, Jonathan Sportell has level 4 Night Goblin, 3 War Bosses on Giant Cave Squigs. One's on foot. Big Boss BSB. He's taken 3 units of 30 Night Goblins with the 3 Fanatics, so obviously he read the FAQ. It's interesting. Some Squig Herds, Squig Hoppers, Mangler Squigs. Lots and lots of other squiggy stuff. This is a proper like Night Goblin list, isn't it? It's remarkable it's done so well, because I'm not sure. I mean, Squig Hoppers aren't very good. Squig Herds are actually they're surprisingly good if they can get into combat. And the Mangler Squigs, I think, are just a bit too. They're not very tough, but the 3d6 random move is really good for them. So that, if you roll those well, you can do well. But anyway, well done, Jonathan, for coming third, and Greg and Connor for getting second and first place respectively in this little 2K tournament over in California. And then finally, does that work now? Yes, and then finally we've got this Old World Rumble 3 10-player 2K tournament in Czechia. Coming in third, Zudzia, Michal Zudzia, maybe, has taken Orc and Goblin tribes, Black Orc, Wyvern, Trollhead Trousers, Talisman of Protection. So he's got the regen, he's got the ward, he's got the 5, 4, 3, 2+ save. Yeah, it's very good, very survivable, that one. Got a level 4 Odd Knob, level 4 Knight, Goblin Odd Knob, and an Orc War Boss to be the BSB. Yeah, there it is, BSB. And then we've got a unit of Black Orcs, as previously mentioned, unit of 30 Fanatics, with 3 Fanatics in, unit of Bull Boys, and 2 Doom Divers. By the way, that looks like a pretty good list, to be honest. Hitting a lot of right notes. Maybe a bit too much on characters. Don't really know what that Goblin Odd Knob is for. Like, you could have spent that on more stuff. But other than that, everything else is pretty good. So well done. James Bigglesworth took Kingdom of Bretonnia and came second with an Errantry Crusade. Oh, excellent. I really want to run an Errantry Crusade at some point. But so we've got Damsel, level 2, Duke with Grom Greathelm, Syrian's Locket, Virtue of Heroism. He's gone for that build, but on a Royal Peg. Paladin, which is a BSB. And then we've got a Prophetess who's level 4 with a Ring of Ruin. So we've got a couple of units of Knights. Hold on, what's the difference? So we've got a unit of 5 Knights Errant with a musician and 2 units of Knights Errant without a musician. Then we've got a unit of 13 Knights of the Realm. That's a weird number. And then we've got a big block of 6 Pegasus Knights, rather than 2 smaller blocks. So that's a very interesting list, and well done for coming in second. But Hold on. Oh, James won. No, well done, James, for coming in second. For winning, sorry. And Martez... He's got Beast... No, he hasn't. That said Beastman there, didn't it? Did his logo say Beastman as well? Oh, for God's sakes. I mean, because his Beastman list look remarkably like a Bretonnian list, don't they? There's nothing really exciting in there, to be honest. So that's it for tournament results this week. There hasn't really been an awful lot on. There's been a couple of 5-game tournaments, which has been nice to see, but in general, not a lot on. What am I going to do this week? I'm just going to wait for the Dwarf book to come out, to be honest, because I've been looking forward to that one. I've been looking at some of the leaks online, and I really like everything to do with dwarves, sadly. I'm in the same position as I was when I was looking at Orcs and Goblins. Like, I kept writing lists, and I was like, so it's like there's too much choice for me. I like something where the choice is pretty obvious and pretty linear. Or I like collecting factions where there's a particular character that I quite like. And I do. Well, I suppose the other problem here is I do quite like the idea of doing a Slayer keep, and I do quite like the idea of doing an expeditionary force. So I don't know which one of those I'm going to go for, but if either, I might just get stuck not being able to choose one over the other. So I might end up with neither. What I want to know next is what Games Workshop's got out next. What do you think? Comment down below. Who do you think is going to be their next release? Personally, I'd like them to do Warriors of Chaos and Empire. It would be nice to get those two factions back. As like a bit of a pairing. And then you'd be left with Wood Elves, High Elves, and Beastmen. Although they might do Empire and Beastmen next, because they're kind of opposites of each other, sort of. It's not Age of Sigmar. It's not, the realm of Gairan ruled by Alariel up against the Beastmen all the time and Nurgle and whatever. This is the old world where Beastmen are infested. The forests of the Empire are infested with Beastmen, so they're a constant problem for the Empire. So they're two old enemies, and it'd be really interesting to see what named characters they're going to let us play with in the old world. So again, if you've got any ideas or want to have a chat about it, comment down below. If you have liked the video, please, there is a button with which you can express that particular reaction, and if you oh god, can't stop yawning. I'm very tired. I had a rave last weekend, which was great, but oh god, I'm so tired now. Like emotionally drained as well. It was a really good weekend, but ready to get back to work now. So anyway, thanks for listening, and subscribe. Yes, you should do that if you've got this far, probably. But yeah, if you any ideas or anything you want to put in the comments, more than happy to chat. I've answered to everything so far. So anyway, see you all soon. Toodaloo.